This topic is oftentimes incendiary and extremely divisive because some people feel like anyone who is serious about CDs and has adopted the format as the way they play back their music wouldn't consider a cheap throwaway Blu-ray player from Goodwill. However, I can't deny that a Blu-ray player you may have stumbled upon at your local charity shop may not be a bad idea for the casual listener. Let's get to it. Hello friends, and welcome back to Audio Arkitekts. I'm your guy, Mike, and today I really want to put this debate to end because I feel like each side that's arguing for one or the other is coming from a completely different circumstance and mindset. So before I reveal the answers to all of your questions, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so my channel can grow. I think this might be the most important factor because let's be honest, a Blu-ray player can do just that. Play Blu-rays, DVDs, sometimes even SACDs. Some of them also might come with video and music streaming capabilities. So in a world where multimedia function is essential in everyday life, of course a Blu-ray player just makes more sense. Now, I have reviewed and owned dedicated CD players that had the music streaming experience built in, but those often carry a really nasty price tag. And don't get me started on players that feature the SACD function. You would think they have built it out of kryptonite because of all the unrealistic retail pricing out there. CD players sometimes feature balanced XLR outputs and AES digital outputs, which are superior connections compared to the basic RCA or optical outputs typically found on cheaper Blu-ray or DVD players. These cheap players generally lack any advanced output options. They offer basic connections, which can limit their integration into more complex hi-fi systems. So, if you're a serious audiophile, you'll probably lean towards the CD player because you value the extensive connectivity and functionality that focuses more on sound quality, especially if you have external DACs and clocks. Those of you that have a modest system and aren't really interested in high-end, high-ticket components, especially if your setup is just in your living room because you don't have a separate listening room, then the Blu-ray player makes more sense because you can play your CDs and watch movies and stream music all from one device. Convenience and the most bang for your buck is your value. Makes sense for both sides, don't you think? Sound quality. This is one that gets people really going, really riled up. This is completely subjective, guys. There really isn't a scientific or objective way to tell you what you hear. Now, you can measure the player using expensive instruments to see if it's producing any type of distortion, but for the most part, people interested in a Blu-ray player solution aren't really focused on clocks, jitter, and noise from the power supply. They just want to insert the CD and listen to the music, which makes sense. Now, for the serious audiophile, you already know how well-designed higher-end players come. You know how important the DAC and output stage affect the sound, and you know that manufacturers like TIAC and Premier will focus on making sure vibrations and isolation are a priority. Audiophiles have taught themselves to hear even the slightest nuances because they've spent a lot of time and money building a system that reveals even the slightest modification. Most people are too busy with everyday life to have ears that well trained or the time and money to dedicate to that type of listening. So will a dedicated CD player sound better than a cheap Blu-ray player? Absolutely. To the right listener, it always will. To the casual listener, they might not tell the difference because they don't really care. Once again, makes sense for both sides, doesn't it? Price. Money. It's scarce these days, so of course if you put out option A on the table and tell the person for $10 at the Goodwill you get a player that sounds acceptable, plays Blu-rays, DVDs, Netflix streaming, sometimes SACDs, only for $10. And there seems to be an infinite amount of inventory, so it's not like this is a once-in-a-lifetime score. Now option B, a CD player that may look nicer, but all it does is play CDs, sometimes SACDs, sometimes streaming, but you're looking at hundreds if not thousands, if not tens of thousands to get one. From a money standpoint, it makes sense for someone on a budget to go with the DVD player and the person who has either saved up or is in a comfortable financial situation to go with the CD player. If someone is interested in investing in a higher end system, they won't care about price. They're more worried about quality, prestige, and integration, while the budget-minded want convenience and best bang for the buck. Makes sense for both sides. There is a middle of the road, a compromise where quality meets affordability. I always appreciate companies that create these unicorn products specifically for this type of consumer. Companies like Cambridge and Audiolab offer more affordable options in the form of CD players. These aren't built with the same discipline as the higher end models, but they do work well nevertheless. It's a good deal when you really want a CD player but aren't ready or just don't want to dive into the deep end, which is fine. I had a Cambridge, I picked it up and actually ended up selling it to what has become a good buddy of mine now because I felt that the sound quality and the build were super solid for the price. I'm sure there are a lot more people out there that live in the compromise, in the upside down, so to speak. I feel like a lot of times people in this hobby and in this industry in general just deal in absolutes.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
And they forget that some of the most endearing products live in this compromise arena. I think another good compromise product is the PS5 or Xbox with optical drives. You can watch movies, play games, play CDs, stream audio and video. I mean, that thing literally does it all. So people that are middle of the road or lukewarm can now dip their foot into a more serious pool of audio because there are options. Dedicated CD players are engineered with a focus on audiophile grade performance. The engineers made sure that every aspect of the design is tailored for high fidelity sound reproduction. So from a quality and budget-free perspective, this is a good way to go to maintain that audio purism so many of you love so much. From an economic opinion, a cheap Blu-ray player offers unbeatable convenience and value, making it the best bang for the buck. For as little as $10, you can get a multifunctional device that can handle CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, and often even digital streaming services. This versatility means you're getting a lot of functionality in one affordable package, making it the best option for people who want to cover all their media playback needs without spending more than they feel comfortable. While the sound quality may not match that of a dedicated high-quality CD player in many people's opinions, the difference is often negligible for casual listeners or those that don't have ultra-revealing hi-fi audio setups. So what would I choose? I would go with what you feel is more important to you. This isn't about what some guy on YouTube thinks you should get. I've laid out the differences, right, between the two. So now it's your job to take all that information and make the best decision for your setup, your budget, your needs, your wants. I don't know you or your situation, so I can't tell you what to get. I can merely present you with options. And that's the goal of this channel, is to show you the world I live in so you have choices. I'll include some links to my favorite CD players down below. If you want to buy a cheaper Blu-ray player, your local thrift store will more than likely have quite a few choices available. If you have any questions, I can help you in the comments below. Or honestly, I would just go to the thrift store and just Google the model numbers and see what the features are from there before you buy it. Thank you for sticking it out with me until the end, my friends. If you're a fan of the channel and want to help out a little bit more, I encourage you to join the Patreon. It's a great way to say thanks and keeps this channel alive, the cogs moving. You can buy a t-shirt like this one from my online shop, or you can just buy me a coffee to say thanks. All those links are down below. If you enjoyed the video, seek revenge with the like button.
John will come for you, and you will do nothing because you can do nothing.
Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to get notified every time a new video is born. With all that said and done, I will see you on the next one, friends. Take care.